What's up, guys? We are live, Monster Motivator TV. This place is absolutely amazing. We are at, how do you pronounce this?
Tuckalata Creek Ranch.
Tuckalata Creek Ranch. Easy for her to say, right? And it was a little harder to find than I thought, but this is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful ranch here in Temecula, the Temecula Valley, I guess you would.
It's Temecula.
Temecula?
Yeah.
And how much property do you have here?
I think, well, I get to live here. I don't own the property.
Okay. But
it's 32 acres.
32 acres. How many horses?
I think right now they do boarding, breeding, training, I think somewhere between 60 and 70.
Oh, man. Before we get started, are you able to pull it up on your phone? Because I'm not able to read the comments or the questions until we pull it up on the phone. Beautiful. Look
There
at
it
that.
is.
Thanks. See that?
I'll hold this up.
No, we can leave it down. That's good. So, okay, I wanna really share her. She's gonna have share with you an amazing story, and I know, you know, the whole thing that we want to bring here is we want to show you that whatever it is you want to do, as long as you're willing to put the work in, as long as you're willing to put the blood, sweat, and tears, get dirty, get back up, wipe yourself off, you can do it. But it's up to you. We're only going to bring some of the value. You have to decide whether you want to do it, if it's for you, if it's not, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to be the best mom, the best dad, whatever that is, that's the value we want to bring to you. But more importantly, you know, it's easy to read something in a book. It's easy to see it on a webinar, be in a classroom. You know, a lot of that is helpful. But this is coming from real world, real life experience, which I consider wisdom versus knowledge, right? I believe that knowledge is unorganized information, wisdom is real, right? Yep. Theory, that just gets in the way. Let's get the real stuff.
Learning is good. If you don't apply it, though, you're nowhere.
Right? And if you don't follow the people that helped beat that path down. Now, there's going to be a lot of things I'm actually going to learn here today about Lorie's story. I know some of the story, but I know that she's a mom. She's a wife.
Right.
She's an entrepreneur. What else? What else?
I just love to help people.
Okay. You love giving back. You're a caregiver. That's part of the women's DNA, right? I always say the baddest human being on the planet is a good woman.
Right.
Can do it all. That's why you could have kids and we can't, right? We just there's a lot of a lot that a woman brings to the forefront, and the social media, the internet is allowing that to happen more and more and more. That's why you're seeing mainly women on this show, because they're making it happen. They're making shit happen, and that's what we want to do. So, Lorie,
yes.
Introduce yourself. Let us know where you started,
Okay.
where you're at,
Okay.
where you see yourself going.
Alrighty.
All right. So, where did this whole journey start?
Okay. Well, I know if I were just here to talk about my business, I would be so at ease, so comfortable. But I know that's not what you're all about, Dave. It's getting to it
They
and
want to
learning
know
the
who
real
you are.
Lorie. Okay.
Because there's people that are watching,
Yes.
going through what you might have went through,
Yes.
trying to figure out how can I do it, or really can I do it, right? And I know you long enough. I've known you over a year and a half. I know that that's part of your DNA, or else you wouldn't be here.
I used to be one of them myself.
Right? But
yes.
but you help people, especially women, get through that fear barrier. Right? That obstacle. So jump in there. Who are you?
The story behind the Lorie.
All right.
Here we go.
Atta girl.
All right. Well, you know, it's interesting growing up. I always thought I was just wired a little different.
Okay.
Because even from an early age, I tended to be really negative and look for it. And what you see, you will find. And, you know, I had a really amazing household and parents, very loving, giving. But I was not okay with all of that. I always looked for trouble. And like you said, I always found it. Just kind of had the wrong frame of mind.
Okay.
You know, kind of that victim mentality, right? So a lot of things happened that actually made it get worse way before it got better. And I could have stayed on that even keel, just always kind of doing okay, I'm sure. But I had to hit down pretty hard. Okay. And I believe when they say they're in rock bottom, honestly, if you can't touch it and you can't kick off, you still got a ways
Yeah.
to go.
You still,
Right?
Yeah, you're still
You have
sinking.
to be able to kick off. So, there was some certain things that happened. I'm gonna be really open and honest. I have a lot of friends and a lot of associates and business partners that I know will be watching it live right now or dialing in later. But you know, at an early age, I went through an experience that no child or woman should ever experience,
Okay.
and I was assaulted and I was raped really young. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know what to do, how to process.
Kind of ashamed, or embarrassed, or
Everything.
everything.
The whole gamut that you see in here
Okay.
of rape victims, I realize now later as an adult, you know, I experienced all that.
Okay.
But I didn't know what to do. But it was within a year later that I continued. I just kind of kept going down a bad path.
How old were you?
I was 12.
Okay.
And then a year, almost 14, I left home.
Okay.
Basically ran away. Wonderful parents, family. They would have stuck by me, supported me, put me through college. I was associating by then with bad people.
Yes.
You know, I had no confidence. I had no self-esteem.
So your self-image, right,
Right.
dictated your direction.
Exactly.
Okay.
And gosh, I spent the next 7 years in a relationship with somebody who was very abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, and you know, I know now those were my developmental years. So it really could have been horrible. I never thought I'd be here now. I never thought I'd live to see 18, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And then when I hit 21, I was really blown away, going, I can't believe I'm still alive.
Right.
But on January 16th, 1990,
Okay.
I know the date well because it was the pivotal point, the day of disgust. I have to get out. And what I realized, I didn't want to die. I just wanted to be happy. And I knew in the circumstances that I was in, there was no way to achieve happiness where I was at. So it was a decision. You know, I was like, I have to change something. I need to go seek it. I need to go find it. The only thing I could figure as a way to get out was to go into a shelter. So I did. I went into...
So let's talk about that day of disgust.
Okay.
Right? Because I like that. I never heard that term. I really like that because really, and tell me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
this is really about you at that time in your life, you did hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Emotionally,
It was either
mentally, right?
I was going to die or
Right.
I was going to have to kill him.
Right.
One
So-
of us had to go.
So that's pretty much rock bottom.
Right.
At that point in your life, at that age, everything you've been through, you were like, something's going to give, right?
Yeah.
And luckily, what do you think made you move in the direction of the shelter versus the other option?
I think there was an inner strength
Okay.
that I used to have when I was younger. I had given it up for those 7 years,
Okay.
and I tapped back into that.
Okay.
I really do. And I ended up going into counseling. I found out that abusive people are attracted to strong people. They only gain strength by
Oh.
taking away yours.
Because it's a bully. It's a bully.
Exactly.
That's exactly. And that person is so weak inside.
Yeah.
That's why they need to do it, right?
Right.
And that's what we talk about the fear barriers. But let
So
me
I
let me
dug
jump
deep.
back a little bit because this is really this is huge value here, and it's really neat. And I say neat, you know what I mean.
I know.
So it makes a lot of sense because you had a deep down, strong self-image, right, in the beginning.
Right.
Because some things happened that were out of your control,
Right.
it spun you into a spiral, but then you found it again. My guess would be that foundation came from that strong family originally.
Right.
Would you?
Right. Oh yeah,
Okay.
my parents loved me, supported me. When I left, obviously, they wanted me to come back, come home. I mean, I would totally lose it if I really went into, you know, my dad
Sure.
just loving me, and he understands me, you know. But also being a very smart and caring father, he knew. By then, I was a young adult. I had to go through some of these things on my own to learn the lessons.
Yep.
And you know, nobody can stop somebody who's
No.
gonna do it
No.
anyways,
And it's not their job. When you
Right.
become an adult,
Mhm.
right? It's not their job.
Right.
So now you're at the shelter,
Mhm.
right? And now what?
Well, it's a program. It was supposed to be 45 days.
Okay.
Well, they kind of arm you with skills. Like many of the women there never had a job, or you know, and so it was to arm you with these things, how
Yeah.
to create a resume and all that. I was the only one there who didn't have children
Okay.
at the time. So it's kind of like the Pied Piper. I'd watch everyone else's kids. They go out and look for jobs and all that. But 30 days after being there, they actually asked me to start working with them on the counseling side, becoming a counselor. So instead of staying the 45 days, it turned into where when I did leave, I had a hotline. And like I called for help basically in the middle of the night saying, I need help. Can someone come get me? That's how it started. Now, just almost 2 months later, I was the person people were calling.
You were on the other end of that.
Yes.
So where did that come from?
Well, you know, I understood what was going on. I knew what they were going through. I could relate completely.
Okay.
You know, I knew their fears and
No,
phobias.
but I mean, where did that come from? How did you get to that point? In other words, you came in as the victim, right? And it is a victim. Then you became the counselor in less than 2 months. Where did that come from? Because that's talk about a transition.
Yeah, and I think I've always loved to help people. You know, and it was interesting when I was in 4th grade. My favorite teacher, Mr. Walsh, love him to this day and appreciate him. But he saw something in me that I hadn't seen. But I'll never forget words that he told me. He said, Lorie, there's something about you, some kind of a servant leadership quality. He said, you would someday serve very well to be a judge or a lawyer. He goes, you value justice and honesty so much. And that stuck with me all my life. And I was like, someday I'll be a lawyer. So then life got in the way.
So I want to make a great point here. Like at 4th grade, when, you know, as a parent, as a teacher, as a leader of kids, what you say just completely, they soak up like a sponge in their subconscious, whether they realize it or not. You took that with you that whole time. You still take it with you today, right? That helped build. That helped get you back. You know, you reached for that.
It gave me a confidence that, you know, I'm like, I might not believe in me, but this guy does.
And
that I look up to and respect.
Right?
Yeah.
He's important.
His opinion was very important. And when he said that, I felt so good. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I can't see that happening, but it's really awesome that he thinks I could.
Exactly.
You know?
Somebody believes in me.
But I always still kept striving for doing the right thing and helping people. When I got out of my situations where I needed help to turn around as soon as I could in any way that I could be able to help others.
So now, 2 months down the road, you're out of the facility. Then what?
Oh goodness. Some great relationships came along. You know, my children's father being one of them. We were together for many years. We did end up splitting up. And even though we weren't together, we were still parents together. And he was one of my best friends. He passed away this August. It'll be 8 years ago. And he was just the neatest guy. And that, you know, my current husband Tim, I've known for 15 years. We've been married for 5. So Greg, my children's dad, loved him. He actually told me a few times, Lorie, thank you so much for finding the best possible stepfather for my kids. He's like, good job. If he was with us today when we got married, he probably would have skipped me down the aisle. I mean, he loved him so much.
That's so great that you had that relationship. I have that with my ex-wife. Still very close. But let's go back a little bit because you have some real golden nuggets here, right? That I want to pull out.
All right, what do you want, Dave?
So, now what were some of the tools that you learned when you were in that? You know, when you were in there, because you left, right? What are some of the tools, and then what did you actually do with them?
It was my first introduction to hypnotherapy. They did some of that there. And I found that amazing because apparently while I was under, I wrote a story. And they were dictating through, you know, while I was, you know, not aware, fully aware, but semi-aware.
You were talking and they were actually
talking and I was writing. And it was interesting. At that time, I had been told by doctors I could never have children. And that hit me hard because I loved kids.
And you were in your early 20s?
Yeah. That I had too much damage from being abused and beaten and losing 3 kids. You know, they say you can never carry full term. So it was interesting. Under hypnosis, I wrote a story about that my biggest wish, it was I am a book. So I was a book, and I was writing as if third person, I am a book.
Wow.
And it said, my biggest wish is to be a sequel.
Okay.
And my pages outside are tattered, but inside they're pristine, and all I ever want is somebody to read the story.
Now, give me your definition. In your mind, you want to be a sequel. What does that mean?
That, I think, what that translated is I wanted to have children. I wanted to carry on.
Oh.
Like,
gotcha,
this isn't
gotcha.
the end of
This
it.
isn't, right.
Yeah.
We need to reproduce to get that DNA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
And it happened.
Okay.
Beautifully. I had biologically, I have two beautiful, perfect kids.
So how long down the road from that
when
point?
I was 25.
So about 3-4 years.
It was 5 years later.
Oh, 5 years later. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, easy breezy. My daughter's home from college visiting right now.
Okay.
And she goes to UC Davis up north. Super proud of her. My son is about, like, she came home to steal my son and my dog. She's taking
She
both of them
cleaned
with
you out.
her. So my son's going up to start school up there as
Really?
well. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, through 10, my husband, he was full-time father. He had 5 children,
Wow.
full custody. So people are like, they look at me and go, wait, you guys have 7 kids?
Brady
And I
Bunch.
go, yeah, look good, huh? Yeah. They don't know I totally cheated, I had to.
So now, how did that, let's talk about that. How did that, was it an easy transition?
To motherhood?
Well, to match the families.
To match the
Like
families?
well, actually, let's go back. No, because we're not there yet. So, having the kids, did it give you what you thought it was going to give you? That fulfillment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Beautiful.
really did.
Beautiful.
I've been super proud of
Okay.
not just being a mom, but of my kids and themselves. I love individuality and uniqueness.
Okay.
And I love how, even in your own children, even though they're part of you, they're so individual and unique.
Yes.
And to appreciate and embrace every little thing.
Okay.
Good
Okay.
and bad, because, like every kid, everyone has to do their things. But I feel really blessed that none of our children, had to go really down the paths that I did.
Okay.
So that's a blessing.
Yes.
But there's so many
Yes.
children that do, and me getting turned around in the wrong direction started early. I was introduced to drugs at an early age. I didn't voluntarily really do anything until I was on my own. And then I found myself struggling with my own addiction, because basically that's kind of what I was raised to believe is normal.
Right. Right.
And now, in hindsight, I'm clean, I'm sober, I, don't go there, we
Right.
should say.
Just not part of your lifestyle.
And that's another avenue on support where I try to help other people, because I understand that as well.
Okay. Okay.
You know.
So that's because that's been so real.
Yeah.
And so effective. It's so affected your life so much
Right.
that it's coming from, again, lack of the horse's mouth. It's really coming from that person that lived it, and that's, to me, that's wisdom, right?
Right.
Because if I'm going to start a business, or I'm having issues with my business, I want to go to somebody that's been there and done it, not somebody that said they read it out of a book.
Right.
I want to be somebody that's been there and done it. Now, how much further down the road before you met your husband Tim? Now, where are we at with that? You're 25. How old were you when you met Tim?
Oh, goodness. Well, 15 years ago, I was just over 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. I had been single mom for 5 years.
Okay. And
And
what did you do?
That's when I moved from Orange County, California.
Okay.
I did a nationwide search. I was like, I need to go anywhere. I can go anywhere in the world, start over.
Okay.
Start a fresh new life with my babies. I did a lot of research. I could have been in Kentucky or anywhere, And Temecula kept coming up lowest on crime, highest in education stats.
Okay.
So I just packed up and moved the kids out here. At the time, I was doing real estate.
Okay.
Real estate was booming out here back in
Beautiful.
2000.
Beautiful.
I got out just in time, though. I like to say I'm a recovering real estate agent, because
Right.
I missed this part, because by then it was just really a struggle.
Yeah.
Having to support them and pay childcare on top of
Yeah.
everything else. So I ended
Yeah.
up finding myself in restaurants,
Okay.
falling back on old experience. worked in restaurants for 23 years in some capacity or
You just
another.
went back into that safety zone.
Well, you know, and tips and money's fast.
Quick
so
money, yeah.
make enough to pay the sitter and have enough left over to try to pay a bill or two.
Just to survive.
It was a wheel though, and I couldn't see a way getting out of that. And I knew about business ownership. I'd heard of it, but I never felt I could do that.
Right.
So, I mean, keeping in mind for years I was told some pretty horrific things, you know, that I was worthless, that I could never amount to anything, you know, and I could go on and on, but that was drilled into me daily for so long.
It's your conditioning.
But my strength inside knew that can't be.
Okay.
You know, I'm away from that now. Why is that still? I don't want to feel that way anymore.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And when I met Tim, he had been introduced long ago to something I had never heard of. It was called personal development. Right?
Right.
And
the savior.
Here was this guy, totally hot. I was like, oh my God, hottest cowboy in the world. And, you know, and he had his 2 little girls then, you know, now they're older.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, wow, he's a single dad like I'm a single mom. I didn't know he'd been eyeballing me for a long time, like I'd been watching him. We lived in the same apartment complex. And then I come to find out he wasn't just picking his kids up on the weekend, he had them full time.
Wow.
You know, he put them in care while he went to work during the week.
Wow.
You know, so I was like really impressed by that, of course.
Stepping up.
And he always said, you know, there's something in you, Lorie. I mean, he was another person who just, where I couldn't see it or believe it myself, and I still struggle with this, but he believed in me.
Right.
He said, there's something about you that is really special.
Okay.
And, of course, I gravitate to that.
Of course.
I'm like, well.
Of course.
You know,
it
but
feels good.
It
right?
feels good, and, you know, I still had all my baggage, but I had learned to pack a lot of it away.
Okay.
So this for me is really new and different. I've never unpacked almost all of what I'm sharing with you.
Right.
This is a first
in front
time.
Of everybody.
So.
I get you. She's just breaking through the fear barrier.
He said real and raw, and I said I'm gonna bite the bullet.
That's why I was excited. I couldn't wait for this.
I'm doing it.
So now you're together. You're meshing the family.
Yeah.
And when do you start to get that entrepreneurial bug?
Oh, okay. That was interesting. I was working for the local school district.
Okay.
I love the kids. Didn't like having a job. Always.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I couldn't figure it out. Why can't I? It's not getting along with bosses. I just didn't like being an employee.
Right.
You know.
Right. And that's the entrepreneurial DNA.
But
it's so
I didn't
hard.
know there was another way.
Exactly.
That was available.
But you were inside. You were struggling with it, right?
Oh,
you were trying
daily.
And
tell me when to be there and when to go home.
Or the best way to do it, right?
Right.
I'll tell you the best way to do it.
I was the idea of the weak person. Well, we don't need your ideas, okay? We got this.
But isn't that when you look back, it's so interesting because you don't know, right?
Right.
That's what it is. But it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Because I was in the same boat. That's why I didn't do good in school.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit still. I couldn't focus. I just wanted to be outside and run.
I know, the brain just goes too fast.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, to be caged up.
But it's so interesting that if you are feeling that and you're not sure what that is, that I pretty much promise you, you probably have some sort of level of an entrepreneur. And I always say that there's different levels. I believe that there's A, B, and C levels, and then also it's so important to understand who you are, your level of awareness in yourself, because it is not for everybody, right? And if you can identify that, that's okay.
That is okay.
That is okay.
Yeah.
And what I love about the business that you're in now, and that you have been in, is it opens the door for the A, the B, and the C entrepreneur, because everything is pretty much presented to you with the formula, with the product, with the system,
total structure,
and then with the mentors, right? So it takes all the excuses out, right? But it opens doors that might not be open or wouldn't be open in the traditional entrepreneurial.
It was.
Would you say that's pretty accurate?
It was very turnkey.
Yeah.
The only challenge was me, right?
Yep.
That's
always
tapping
it. That's
into
always
that.
it.
You know, and it's funny how Legal Shield found us, I was just unhappy, and Tim knew it. I would come home crying, you know.
So for what? What?
Just I don't want to say any names or anything.
No.
I just wasn't happy at work.
Okay, so
And,
you were struggling with that DNA.
Right.
Yeah.
And no matter what job, even when I was doing real estate, I was still self-employed, but I was
Answering.
I was new, and I was, you know, trying to really figure this out so I could spread my wings.
Sure.
And I just didn't get the chance to do it. It was too much of sales, and I'm not a salesperson.
Okay.
Sales drives me nuts.
Right.
I like what I do now. I share.
And it's
totally
relationship
different.
building.
It's total belly to belly.
Yeah, it's relationship building.
But here's what Tim did.
Okay.
Without my knowing, he had gone online and applied for all these little work from home opportunities.
Wow.
Because there's a million of
Yeah.
them out there, right?
Especially now.
So he had been getting, you know, responses unbeknownst to me. And then one day his phone rang. His cell phone, which I had never answered,
Right.
never looked at. You know, we
Yeah,
kept
yeah,
our,
of course.
we always respected each other's privacy.
Yeah.
And this one time was so weird. We're kind of odd to this day how it happened. But he looks at it. He's like, I don't know the number. And I look at it and I'm like, huh. And he's like, what? And I go, I don't know why, but can I answer that call? And he goes, I don't know who it is. I'm like, I know, I don't either. I go, I feel like I should answer that.
Really?
It was weird, Dave. I'm telling you.
But it's the energy. It's the universe.
I was so compelled, and I answered, and a woman said she was calling for Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, this is Tim's wife. Can I help you? And she probably thought I was you know, some weird
check-in.
blocking her. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, why do I have to answer his phone so bad? And beautiful woman changed my life. She said, Tim had filled out some information online. I was calling in response. I believe he's looking for a home-based business. The light bulb went off, and I immediately said, I think he was looking for me.
And he was right there.
He was right there.
Yeah.
And he lit up, and I was like, really? And I looked at him, what did you do? So she sent me some information to look at. I loved what I saw, and we scheduled an appointment to meet to go into detail, which is what I do now.
Yeah.
That changed my life. I've never looked back, because the program, the business I was introduced to, is a lot of people describe it as a personal development program with an income attached.
You know,
right?
It's so true.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about this, and I know you're on the same page with me,
Yeah.
because personal development's changed your life just like it has mine, that it's a tragedy it's not taught in school from day one.
True.
Right? I mean,
Very
a
true.
tragedy that it's not taught.
It should be the biggest focus in high school.
And it should grow as they grow,
Right.
So you had the meeting, you left that meeting, how did you feel?
I felt so excited. I
You
called
did?
Tim. I go, hey, guess what? He goes, what? And I go, I just bought a business. And he laughed at me. Now, to him, traditional business
Sure.
is $20,000, $50,000, $100,000.
Right, brick and mortar.
Yeah,
Right.
not a couple $100, you know. But I saw the vision, you know, and I kept remembering, because it was something to do with legal. I really didn't understand what it was, but I remembered Mr. Walsh's words. Someday you could be a great lawyer or a judge. So I misinterpreted this on my first just peek. Oh, it's something about I can learn the law. I'm not too old yet. You know, maybe it's not being a lawyer, but it's something with lawyers, you know, which has always intrigued me.
Yeah.
And that was enough to pique my interest. But then I really realized how powerful it was, and I got more and more excited every minute the more I learned about it.
So
Because I was just thinking of, what I saw right away is this everybody needs, everyone can afford, and nobody knows about. So as a visionary, that's when it hit me. I'm a visionary. I can see the big picture
right.
of this, you know.
And I think what you like too probably resonated for you is it was such a win-win.
It was a perfect fit.
I mean, it's a win-win.
So what happened, and I did not see this coming, I just wanted to make like an extra $500 a month, part-time, because as a teacher, you're paid once a month, and there was always too much month at the end of the money,
Right?
you know, and then you don't work in the summer months. Bills still come in, you know, still got to pay your home and everything. And I'm like, well, I know a lot of teachers who are in the same pickle as me. Let me share this opportunity with them. That's kind of how I started my first approach, but within 2 months, spare time, literally spare time working this business that called me, well, called my husband, you know, I was making more income than I was at my job. So I retired myself.
Right, you could get out.
I could call it quit, but I did put in notice, so I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
But I like to say retired because that's when I realized I am an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I have a valid, solid business.
Okay.
With unlimited potential. The only thing that's going to stop this from being massively successful is me.
Okay.
And they introduced me to all the programs, all the books, and all the people who can get over the block of Lorie and Lorie's past.
Okay.
My self-sabotage, you know, that I've been doing for so many years.
The fear of success.
Limiting
right?
beliefs.
Would you say, okay.
Fear of success. You mentioned this recently.
Thursday night.
I had that aha moment. Those are the words I've been looking for years. And Dave did a little seminar talking about the different kinds of fears that hold people back.
So what was your aha moment?
When you said the fear of success.
Okay.
Because even to this day, I can be really close to a goal, a business goal, right? Right on the edge, and then something will happen, you know, I'll get sick or, you know, just something. And this has been going on for years. And Tim always goes, you realize you're doing this, right? And I'm like, no, I can't help it. I got pneumonia, you know.
Right.
But that's the power of the mind. The
Yes.
mind is that strong, you know. And after so many times this happening,
Okay.
now I have an awareness.
Okay.
To be you can't fix something if you're not aware of it, first of all, right?
100%.
So now the mind's eye is open. So now I'm on the lookout.
For that sabotage.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I have new goals, new patterns, new things to go for.
Okay.
And my antennas are up.
Okay.
I don't want anything to stop me moving forward like I have allowed it in the past. So I've never been more excited than I am now.
So let me ask you this. How important do you believe your why is?
You know, the why is everything for anybody.
It's the nucleus.
You don't know what your why is, it's really easy to get shot down from either someone on the outside or even from yourself on the inside. You have to know what your why is. It is part of the training that we do with everybody who joins as agents in our business. It's the number one thing we go through is your why. I'll spend more time there than anything. Because the why, if you don't have a strong why, you can get blown out of the water very easy. And it's you. It's what drives you. We like to say what's hurting you for the acronyms.
Okay.
WHY.
Yeah.
But it's deeper than that. It could be a mission that you want to start, or a nonprofit. You know.
Or your family.
It could be your family,
Yeah.
or releasing some bondage of others in your family that are trapped, or you know, anything. Your why can be so powerful.
Right.
It's so individual. Everybody's is different. And a lot of people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Or they don't think they do. They
Yeah.
probably do. And here's the other thing that I've found.
They don't realize you're allowed to
And-
be selfish in your why.
Exactly, because the better you make yourself, the better everyone else around you could be. And also what I learned, and I know you heard this story, I shared the Tommy story.
Right.
And it's my why started out as I need to eat, pay bills, and survive. Then it parlayed, it turned into I can't let Tommy down.
Right.
Right? So Tommy became my why.
Mm-hmm.
I'd walk through fire for Tommy. So even if you don't, even if it's just the survival, right? I have to eat and take care of my family. That's a great start. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. And my why has evolved over the years.
And it will. Yeah.
I was so new. My first why is I'd like to have a motorhome.
Right.
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 Everything else, because when I started, I was a very negative, bitter, angry person.
Yeah. A victim.
People who know me
A victim.
now would never believe that.
Okay.
Those who knew me then are like, look at me now and go, what happened to you? You're so happy. But that's as far as I could see. And then it was, well, I want to help contribute financially and not be a burden. I want to,
Okay.
My husband is man enough to be totally okay when I said, okay, I have a new why. How about I double your income? He's like, right on, let's do it.
See?
And so it kept growing.
But because you did.
Yeah,
Right?
I was
because
growing.
you need to become that person in order to obtain that.
Yeah.
Right? So how cool is that? It started out as I want an RV.
Yeah.
Then it became, well, man, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
I can actually do this.
I can make things happen.
Right? It's
Right.
kind of like Oprah when she talks about she never, you're going to love this. I saw an interview with Oprah when she was in her peak, right? Her prime. And when you're going to sit down with Oprah, you're going to present her with questions. There are people who are going to check them out. Does it does it fly, right?
Right.
I know that this question wasn't on the paper from her response, like her facial expression. And the interviewer said, do you ever feel guilty for all the success that you've had?
Right.
And she looked, and she caught herself, and you could tell, and she said, not at all. She said, number one, I earned it. And number two, if I didn't have the success I have, I wouldn't be able to put these girls through the college in the school in Africa. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. And it's so interesting from where she came, right? A poor little black girl from Mississippi that got abused. Society says she's not attractive, right? Not supposed to win. And she became that person to obtain that success. And she couldn't if she didn't become that person. Right. So your journey was so much alike, right? If you look at it, your journey, but if you weren't willing to become the person to obtain that, you'd go back.
Right.
Right? Is that would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to come to a point. Well, I came to a point where I was ready to be honest, open, and willing.
Okay.
The how all fell together.
All right.
Right? HOW, honest, open, willing. And you know, another thing I've learned, especially recently, it's hitting me like from all directions, is that things are not coincidences.
Never by mistake.
No, and instead of trying to dig into and find the reason behind circumstance and meetings and this and that, I'm learning to just let it be and embrace it and watch it grow on its own.
And for a control personality, that's a hard.
I am a control freak.
It's a hard thing
I'm learning how to let go of that too.
Listen,
so.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Now let's go back a little bit too. As you know, I'm a big action guy, right?
Yeah.
Action, more action. Because I know that it becomes magical. So your husband took the action. Just took the action, and things just started to unfold. Then you picked the ball up and ran with it,
exactly.
Right? But you always had that choice. You could have just said, that phone could have rang. You could have said, nope, I'm not interested. I'm too scared. Nope, I'm not interested. I couldn't do it. So share with the people out there, anybody that is looking to start their own business or just do something that's scaring the hell out of them. What would you suggest? Give them some golden nuggets.
I believe no matter where you are or what your circumstances are, they can change. It with a simple decision. This has been coached into me by the best of the best.
Right?
It is
the
decision
golden word.
to decide to cut away. That's another training from Latin. But you just have to decide.
Okay.
All right? And a clear-cut decision can change the world. So no matter where anybody is, I honestly could not see a way out. But I wasn't willing to give up believing there was one. So that way, when the chance was there, it didn't pass me by.
Right.
You know, and there could have been other ones that did. But the
but
right
it wasn't
ones
your
came
time.
along when it was the
It
right
wasn't
time
your
for
time.
me. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it starts with deciding, like draw a line in the sand.
Okay.
And say enough is enough. Whatever, you know, you never want to forget your past. You want to learn from it. So you could take that with you, but use it as fuel to feed you forward. Instead of
an anchor.
Instead of holding you back.
Right.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah, you can steal that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We'll
like
see you
that.
mean tomorrow.
I like that. But I do, because I always say that you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. When you move backwards long enough, you disappear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fact. So now you're in Legal Shield. You've been in. How long have you actually been in Legal Shield?
This November it'll be 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the success stories? And it doesn't have to be monetary that you saw in people that you've brought in or that you've befriended.
Yes.
Give us some real success stories. And again, it doesn't have to be monetary.
Right. Well, I work with people of all ages, all backgrounds, all religions, all races, all educations. It really does not matter.
Okay.
What matters, and this is what we find for success in any entrepreneur business, is a white hot burning desire.
Yes.
If you got that, the sky's the limit, you know. And so you can find them anywhere. There's people out there who are on their knees at night praying for opportunities. They just don't know about them.
Right.
I was one of them. I never knew anything like this. So I've had stories like, you know, a young man who was 18, got started with us, did really well financially even in his first month, hit the highest permanent position.
Wow.
But what we got to see was the maturity and the level of growth.
The person he became.
The person he became. Now he could speak in front of thousands eloquently if he chose to, be an expert. He has his chosen field, his love of what he does. You know, this was simply, a lot of times our business is a vehicle to bridge the gap between where people want to be,
Okay.
to help them be okay to get there.
Okay.
But as they're learning and making money on the way, it's the growth that they get from it, the confidence,
The person they
the
become.
person they become. There's so much positive reinforcement. Like every little success, big and small, is celebrated. Little things. You sold your first membership. Let's let the world know. Let's all congratulate you. All around the country, you have people chiming in going, you know what, it only goes up from here. And for a new person who's never really accomplished much, or maybe ran into hard times and lost a lot,
Yes.
it's very powerful
Yes.
to know others believe in you. This why another reason it's a good fit for me is I've already shared, I like when somebody believes in me, therefore that's my why. I want to give them a reason to.
Yes.
We didn't finish that part up.
Okay.
That is my why.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
I want to make sure people invested faith in me.
Right. You don't want to let them down.
reason.
Right.
Right.
Like I didn't want to let Tommy down.
Yeah.
Right. I would walk through fire for Tommy. I just had a question on the tip of my tongue that I wanted to ask you about, and it came to the business. So you had, so you saw some real good success stories as far as their the person they needed to become,
Right.
to match that.
Right.
And I'm sure some really good financial. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Now, you did hear me speak, so you know that I'm a big believer that everything in business, everything, your sales, your customer service, your ROI, your technology, all follow the culture of your business. So what that's telling me, the way you described the culture of your business, really is second to none.
Right.
When you can rally around, would you say that's a big plus?
Yes, it is huge.
How important is culture?
The world's evolving, and if any business that you're in is not evolving with it, you're going to get left behind.
Yes.
So, but you're talking, we have a very powerful family culture.
Okay.
We really do. Everybody supports everybody. I personally have not seen competition within the company. I've never experienced it. You know, I can see another agent, and all we do is build each other up.
Create instead of compete.
Because you know what? We all win together. Everyone rises together.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm all about supporting, and so been introduced into a business and a company that does not only that. We just support.
Okay.
You know, to our clients, it's sheer support. 100%. What is it we do? We offer support.
You're service oriented.
Very service oriented. I saw companies out there, you know, that are product oriented. Nothing against them. There's some great ones out there, but it just didn't pull my heart.
Yeah, it just didn't resonate with you, right?
I've had like, for an example, a client, an old lady in Georgia, call me crying. Thank you so much for saving my house. And I'm like, I didn't save your house. The attorneys did, but I'm crying, going,
right. Of course.
This is why I do what I do.
Exactly. And,
You know?
and like you said, from day one, it spoke to you.
Yeah.
Right? So it resonated with you, and you just kept running with it. So before we jump off, are there some things that I didn't touch on or that you want to share that you want to, that I didn't talk about?
So, well, I did want to talk about, I was starting with the evolution, you know, and how times are changing. And I know you're super up on this. I mean, this is,
it's
you
everything.
know, live, you know, it's how it works,
Yes.
you know. So technology is constantly being upgraded and changing. And what I love is my business, even though it's been around since 1972, 40-something years old, very solid, better and better every year, every quarter, they're evolving with the times.
Where they be going?
It is so amazing. Like, we have an app now. You just tap the app, you got your attorney on the phone. You get a speeding ticket, tap the app, takes a picture, fires off to your law firm. You can go continue your travel this summer. You know, anywhere in the country. I mean, it's amazing to see, but we also have the instant customer support, you know, the attorney support, the corporate support.
Let me ask you this: how much has social media changed your industry?
You know, some people just don't do it. You know, there's some who don't get it, and there's some who run with it. I do promote, you know, and those who know me on Facebook, I do some on my personal page, especially when I'm excited about a new feature. I mean, because we're always adding. Yeah. You know,
There's
the good stuff.
something.
It gets gooder and gooder.
Yeah.
I love to say, and so I can't help. It's like, well, I have my business page, but all of you aren't on there, so everyone's got to hear this. I don't care what you do with it. I don't care if you get the product. I just want you to know it's there, and here's what it does. Okay. Because my mindset, this is why sales doesn't work for me. I don't want you to go, okay, you sold me on it. I want you to go, I know people who could really use this. Right. Who can benefit from this yesterday.
That's a relationship.
Yeah.
That's and I think a lot of people, and that's why I wanted to make sure that Monster Motivator TV is about the person, right? The individual, because everything will follow once we get to know who you are. Take us behind the curtain, right?
Right.
And for a lot of people, after we get done a show, they feel like it's almost a therapy, like it's a good thing, right?
Well, I knew this would be for me because what I've shared with all of you is stuff like, gosh, who knows? I didn't even tell my parents that first thing I shared till I was in my 20s.
Right.
My husband knows all this, but then again, he's my biggest supporter.
Yeah, he's right there with you.
Yeah.
In the trenches, but it's so important that social media, again, someone like in your world, so you start a legal blog, right? You start a video blog that will help get content and information out there, and then let them figure out, do they want to be a part of this? And I know I'm pretty secure in saying this, even if you don't want to be part of this, or you're not sure that you want to be part of this, just reach out to Lorie and ask her questions.
Oh,
because,
yeah, I love questions.
I mean, because you want to give back.
Right.
Right. So, and if you can't get a hold of her, get a hold of me. I know how to get a hold of her. I know where she lives. So, anything else before we jump off? Because I really appreciate you being so candid and being so real, and I didn't expect anything different.
Oh, awesome. Well, I am at a point in my life where I'm like, this is me, love it or leave it.
Okay.
But this is now the real me, not the facade that I've been carrying for a long time.
What you thought that you should be.
And what I wanted people to see.
Right, what you thought they should
see. As I'm
see.
always, and people know me as being very open and honest and direct. They didn't know a lot of me because I didn't volunteer any of it, you know, so I don't mind being even more open and honest. Okay. And this was a great way to do that because I'm human, I'm normal. Yeah. And I fail and I succeed and life goes like this all the time. Yes. I'm just happy that I'm on a path now where it's going up this way. Right. Still got our down moments, but
you made a decision.
Given what I've been
through,
I'll
the action,
never go.
Right?
Yes.
You made a decision, you took the action, and then what happened? Things just start to unfold. Yeah. That magic starts to happen. And it's so interesting because it's double-edged sword. If you made a decision in the wrong way and took the action, that same magic would happen. It's just more of a toxic magic than a magical magic.
I had to leave people behind, you know.
Well, you know, that's a great thing. Before I want to touch on that because it's so important. One of my mentors shared this with me a long time ago, and it really took the pressure off me, and it really helped me get to another level at that time. And she said to me, Dave, when you start raising your vibration, right? She was very spiritual, and when she used to talk back then, it sounded like it was a different language, right? I'm trying to figure all this out, this spiritual stuff, right? I'm a kid from Jersey.
I'm with you there.
I'm like, what?
I'm totally with you there. Yeah.
So she said to me, as you're growing, and I started to see people I wasn't connecting with, that I was best friends with, that I grew up with, right? Why is this? And she said, because you're raising your level of vibration. They're not meeting you, and they're falling away. Yeah. And at first, it's like, what a shitty feeling, because you're like, you feel guilty. Yeah. You feel like you're doing something wrong. But she says, understand, that as you keep raising your vibration, they're either going to come with you or fall away, but it's not your job.
Right, right. The
And when
whole crab's in the bucket.
Yeah, she said, when it's not my job, right?
Yeah.
As a control guy,
Yeah.
as that type A personality, that gave me the okay to say, keep going. You know,
Yeah.
keep going. Would that be
Just
accurate?
bless them, love them, and let them go.
Yeah.
And if it's meant to be, they'll know where to find you.
Right,
you know?
right, and they'll meet you.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends who are still in the same circles, doing the same bad decisions, and I still love them, and I wish them well, but I'm not gonna, go back down there to try to pull them up.
Okay.
You know,
It's
what
just
I'm
not your
saying?
job.
And just like I feel like I kind of outgrew them in a sense, and not sounding cocky
No,
or
but
superior.
You did.
I just, I want to be better than I was yesterday.
Right.
Right? The only way to do that is through effort. You
Right.
can't just wake up and go, yeah, I'm better than I was. You have to put something in.
Yeah.
So I always, good stuff in, good stuff out.
And I'm a big believer in, and I'm kind of chopping this up, but it's kind of the way it registers in my head, is watch me, support me, or get out of my way.
I love it.
Watch me, support me,
Now
or
I'm
get out
going
of
to
my
steal
way.
that one.
See, because honestly, that's really what it's all about.
Right.
Because if you're on a journey, if your why is big enough, your goals scare you and excite you at the same time, and you can work on that self-talk, that inner coach, your results will be there, right? It might take some time. I had a guy say this title, I guess you could call it. Andy Frisell, I love his podcast. It's the MFCEO Project, and I don't know if you know what that stands for.
I don't.
The motherfucking CEO.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
So he's as raw and real as you
That
can
guy.
get. But what he talks about, right? He built a supplement company from nothing
Yeah.
to $100 million business, and he said, what I had to learn was aggressive patience. So what that means, how cool is that?
Yeah.
So what that means is you're doing every single thing you could possibly do to that point, and then you're going to do everything you possibly can to that point, but you understand that things still have to unfold.
Right.
Because I think for the hardest thing as an entrepreneur is the patience.
Yeah.
Because I want everything yesterday.
We won it yesterday. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So aggressive patience. So we don't have to just sit back, right? It's not the pink clouds, the unicorn, and the Easter bunny.
Right.
This is real world stuff. I love that, and I got a feeling you might connect with that.
Oh, I'm thinking start with the goal and then work backwards.
Right.
And take those aggressive steps to get there.
Reverse engineering.
Yeah, but you can't do it unless you have a goal.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And one of the things too, before we jump off, is because I knew I was going to connect with this interview, is what you guys have in place allows the ultimate recipe in business, which is I always want to identify my weaknesses and enhance them, and run with my strengths. So
Right.
when you have systems in place,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Right.
Right? You can do that because everything. I'm the guy that I need those people in the back end to keep everything in order because I'm going to run like crazy in the front end.
Me
Is
too.
that right?
Yeah, I'm not like the most organized.
Right.
I'm not,
But with systems,
Yeah.
you don't have to be.
Well, yeah,
or it
because
helps you.
follow-up is a weakness,
Okay.
but with our systems, CRM or whatever,
Yeah.
I don't have to stress on that,
Right. Right.
My strength would be conversing and sharing and
Right.
relating to people,
Right.
where with some other people, that's not their strength.
Right.
So I can bring them with me and, they can use my strengths and I'll use theirs, which may be keeping track of what's going
Right.
on. Or,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
exactly how you do it.
Yeah.
It's the same recipe, different ingredients.
Right.
And that's what I love about life, and that's what I love about business. It's the same recipe, different ingredients, whether you want to lose weight, get in shape, build a business, become a parent, whatever that is, it's the same recipe, different ingredients. Anything before we jump off? I know I took up a
Yeah.
lot of your time.
No, it's awesome. I'm really glad you're here.
Okay.
We're very blessed to live here. This is Tuckalata Creek Ranch.
Okay.
The owners are Alan and Kay Needle.
Okay.
I don't know where they are. They might be around the corner here
Okay.
listening. But, I want to give a shout out. They have their own winery as well. It's tcrsellers.com.
Okay.
I want to throw that out there because just to show my appreciation for them allowing us to do the interview right here. In addition, I just want to say to anybody out there who maybe feels like you're in a place and you're looking at what, you feel maybe your future and you're like, I don't know how or if, just know that you can. You just need to decide. So anybody out there, please feel free to reach out to me, private message, whatever you need to do. I'll be happy to talk, share, and listen to the best of my ability. So
yeah, and if you don't know it, you'll find it out.
Oh, I'll find answers.
You'll find it out. Real quick, for the people out there that, and you know who you are, I've been in touch with you, and you know who you are, that are afraid to come on Monster Motivator TV.
I was one of them.
Okay, so what would you share? What was your experience?
My experience, if we were just talking business, it wouldn't be a problem, because I do that all the time. Knowing it was about me, I was a little leery, but at the same time, I understand the importance of connecting with the people that I'm going to see out there in my community, have lunch with.
Okay.
This is the easiest and best way for me to be really open. So you guys can know me without me having to share a whole life story with everybody one-on-one. Now we can do it. And it's a relief, it really is. You're right, to just get that out there. Now I feel people know me more on a deeper level, and can also now understand, even on a higher level, how genuine I am when I say I do want to help. And I have been there, and I do understand.
And would you say that, and you tell me if this is accurate, would you say that now it might be easier for you to share the same story again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because you've been down that road?
For sure. The ice is broken.
So that big green hairy monster, we might have slayed that dragon?
Right.
Or would you say?
Yeah,
okay.
For sure. There's no takebacks on live TV.
Okay, real, raw, and go with it, and there was no question shared. You didn't know what was coming, right?
No script.
Right? That's what makes it so fun.
But you know what? I know you too, and you know I've been kind of like stalking him lately, because I wanted to kind of learn like your style and stuff, and all I found is I trust you, and that was enough.
You're just an energy.
I trusted you not to take me down a rabbit hole and leave me there, and I knew going into this that you were a good person, and you also mean well.
Thank you.
So that gave me faith that everything would work out just fine, and it has. It did.
Man, that's awesome. So, Monster Motivator TV, we are a live stream TV show that's going to come to you. We're mobile. We want to highlight. We want to get out into the public, the people, the businesses, the nonprofits that are making a difference in the community, so we can share their value, get it out there, and we are very, very competitive with our pricing. It's free. So it doesn't cost you anything. We are taking all the excuses out of the way, just like your company does. Everything's lined up. We have an online scheduling, so you can go on at your convenience and get it done. What I am finding out, though, now that we have the online calendar, I have to follow up more because people aren't doing it, right? So I have to follow up more. So I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Please reach out to Lorie. She's local here in Temecula area, but I know that we're worldwide with this. Reach out to her. Don't be shy. She is a complete giver, and that's just what she does. She's a caregiver, and she really, really, truly means it. And that's why I'm so excited to, whether you realize it or not, it's called the dip.
The dip.
You shared your dip,
right,
and we brought them right back out. We didn't leave them in the dip.
Yep.
We have to bring them back out.
Yep.
So hopefully you guys are out of the dip. If you feel yourself in the dip, in your own dip, reach out. We're here to help. We're here to give back. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And before I shut it off, there might even be a question real quick. Let me check. But my eyes won't let me read it this far away. You're a great lady. I'm glad we crossed paths. You are my friend and my mentor, Haley.
Haley.
Hopper.
Hi, Haley. Thank
you know?
You.
Oh,
yes.
awesome.
She's one of my new associates.
That a girl. Haley, thanks so much for tuning in. And we will talk to you guys soon. And keep making it happen.